wouldn't want you to look forward to it too much because these next two presentations are really interesting. So I would definitely recommend paying attention. Very quick, couple of things. All of the tables have got a booklet on them, which has got all the information about the day, the clients that are in it, and so on. Every one of the clients that are listed in there and have their own page have got a presence here in the room today. So someone is here for representing one of those businesses in one way, shape, or form. So if you'd like to speak to any of them, do come and speak to me or Tony or whoever else, and we will put you in touch with them so you can speak to them. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to Christian and Wolfgang, who are here to speak to you about immersion.
Let's go. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Wolfgang, and this is Christian, I guess.
Christian.
And we would like to take about half an hour of your time. So thank you for donating it for a project that we've been working on for a couple of years. And this is about an extended reality customer platform where we bring together complex product information, CRM and customer data, and immersive technologies into one. This is us. One of them is me. My name is Wolfgang. I'm German. My name gives me away, but I've lived all over the world. I come from the automotive world, studied in Cambridge, MIT, ended up building cars, selling cars, worked for Porsche, Mercedes, Jaguar Land Rover, Audi, and then I ended up heading up Mercedes-AMG in their marketing. So my role is marketing, but my expertise is automotive for many, many years.
Thank you, Wolf. Hi, I'm Christian Weitz. I am co-founder and director with Wolfgang of Immersion Developments Limited, and my background is advertising and video games. Quite an eclectic mix there. And my background was, again, automotive, similar to you. I was in ran the Alfa Romeo advertising business for a number of years, Iveco Truck, Sky Sports. And I moved into video game development, where I launched games such as Sniper Elite and Rogue Trooper, and a few others. And then from there, moved into another area of developing games for brands, where we made video games for Volkswagen AG and for Volkswagen China. So we've got good connections and vibes and all that good stuff. And the gentleman here, unfortunately, he couldn't make it. That's Marco. That's Marco van Herpen, and he's CEO and managing director of an agency in the Netherlands called Patterns.ai, and they're one of the Netherlands' leading digital agencies on AI and immersive technologies. And he is our production partner and our first investor. Now, a little bit of background here. We sort of came together, a bit of a conversion of all of our talents and our experiences and everything else. And what we wanted to do was to create honest, bold, and rewarding digital experiences for customers. Honest being a big, big one for us. And we started thinking about some ideas about what we could actually do to get customers excited about products. So we came up with an idea, which was to help OEMs or automotive companies sell more product in smaller spaces. So the idea is you have pop-ups that you would have, and you would have small spaces in shopping malls and things like that, but giving them the ability to sell all of their products all the time. And we were going to be using immersive technologies, holograms of the vehicles, and you would have a small space and basically use it. And the idea was that because of Wolfgang's background and connections, we had access to the CEOs and the global marketing people for all of these premium brands. And we took it to them. And they loved it. They thought it was great. And then suddenly certain other areas started coming through in terms of the friction that they're feeling at the moment, in terms of their buying process, how people buy cars. So for example, the customer journey that people use when they're going to buy a car is fragmented. You're using different media on and offline. And as a consequence of that, they can't see how effective it is. All the touch points that they have, they can't see the effectiveness. And the second part is that the customers spend so much time researching their cars. The current estimate is around 12 hours for one car purchase. And that could be everything from going on the internet, talking to friends, downloading everything, basically going out to a place, going to the dealers and speaking to them. But effectively, all the information is dotted around the internet and the customers aren't guided. And then from the OEM's point of view, they were saying one of the things that we want to do is have a direct relationship with the customer. Currently, if you're buying a car, 9 times out of 10, you'll go to a franchise dealership and your relationship develops with them. What the OEMs want to do is have a direct relationship with the customer. So they want to understand them more. They want to look at where they're coming from. They just want to understand the customer and bring them closer. And the last one, and Wolfgang has made it very clear that none of the OEMs here said this last statement. No one said, which is basically customers don't enjoy the dealership experience. We can all, everyone that's bought a car, know that it's a bit of a difficult environment, but basically customers are looking at other ways, and this is the reason why we're seeing so many opportunities for brands that are selling their cars online, delivering directly, etc. But it's the dealership model. It's not going away anytime soon. So we basically took on board all these points, and we started to think, well, there's a better way of doing this. How can we incorporate all of these key areas and make it an exceptionally personalized, enjoyable, rewarding experience buying the car? Because the process of buying a car should be as exciting as owning it, the build-up. So as a solution to the problem, oh, sorry, I've got one more slide just to go. So just to summarize, both customers and OEMs see too much friction in the way we buy cars at the moment. And it's not just cars, it could be other products we can highlight in a moment. So taking all this on board, we spoke to our video game guys, we spoke to our immersive designers and everything else. And we basically came up with an idea that we are going to present to you today. Immersive customer journeys. We've created, and we didn't know this, we created a brand new segment, a brand new category within the customer journey SaaS market. And how does it work? Immerzion.one. Immerzion.one is an experiential information platform which provides a personalized experience for every single customer anywhere in the world and enables them to seamlessly go from awareness through to purchase, seamlessly from home through to retail. It consists of a front-end ecosystem of immersive experiences on mobile and headset, which basically tell the story of the product and personalize it to each customer. Whereas, okay, we are on a timer. And basically we have a back-end system that updates the systems at the front and then effectively creates a customer, gives us customer intelligence. So how does it work? One of the first moments when you're deciding that you're going to be buying a car is to start your research. A lot of people use magazines or outdoor. You're more open to posters. You're looking in What Car magazine, whatever it is. And it was one of these areas where the existing customer journeys did not connect because we're talking about offline. So we started looking at how could we utilize the mediums that are already being used by the OEMs, by the car companies, and it's the advertising. And this particular application, which we call the live brochure, would feature on, and by the way, we're using the Mercedes G-Class as the example car throughout. They would basically find the ad for the car, and utilizing Web AR, we could open effectively a three-dimensional website and place the vehicle of the ad on the table, and you can drive around, and then you can have videos and supporting information about the product. And the call to action will be for more immersive experiences, download our app. And that will move on to the first point. Now, we're aware that lots of people come into the customer journey at different points, but there are two key areas. The first is highlight. The second one is if you know the type of vehicle that you're going for, the brand, the configurator is a great place to start. You play there. You dream a little bit about all the things you're putting into it. But at the moment, configurator experiences tend to end. You spend a few hours doing it, and then you can either go to the dealership for an appointment, or you can have a tech specs or a brochure. It doesn't go anywhere. And we thought that this is the moment where we can really contextualize the vehicle and get a little bit more ownership and a bit more excitement from the customer. And then basically what we would do is once they've configured it, we'd export the 3D render, put it into the customer's phone, and they can superimpose it. They can place it in front of their house. This is photorealistic hologram. This will look like the same car. We've already produced this application. And one of the other things that they can do is they can be inside the car, outside the car, and they can even share it with their friends. And we're seeing this point, the consideration is, I'm going to look at this. I'm thinking about this. And we also include a garage measuring app within the existing app that basically measures the garage to say, does the G-Class fit in my garage? Yes, it does, tick. Does it look cool outside my house? Yes. My friends have said, yeah, great, tick. And that leads us to the next point, which is design. Now, showrooms, dealerships are fantastic places to get information, but a lot of customers don't go. So the idea of this is that we provide every customer their own personal dealership showroom, and which features their configured car as pride of place, which has a lot of information concerning the vehicle and everything else. And also rooms that you can go into that you can find out more about the brand, their values, because a lot of customers want to know the values they have are the same with the brands. But this is where it gets very interesting insofar that we have a repository of information that we can get from the OEMs, and the OEMs populate all of the aspects of immerzion.one. And basically what they will do is that we have video content of all the features, all the cars, everything it does. And we would have our algorithm, our CDP would be monitoring all of the applications and the content the customer's looking at. And we form a picture of what that customer is actually looking for. And it will be at this moment that we can provide recommendations and different features and different proposals for the customer. So if the customer's happy, they've got to this stage, the next stage is moving from home to retail and analyzing the pain points they had in retail. But what would happen in this case is the customer would make an appointment through the application. They would go to the dealership, and the dealer, or the customer genius as we call them, would open up their customer profile, which has been created by our system, to get an understanding of what the customer is looking for. And with these, this is where it gets fun when you're going to buy cars. We would take a physical car, and with like the Apple Vision Pro, we would overlay X-rays. So similar to, there might be some guys in here that used to read Eagle as a kid and used to have cutaways of the vehicle to show how things work. It's exactly the same concept here. And the way it works is that we illustrate these internal features based on the interest of the customer. So everything the customer sees is completely relevant to them. And we will take it through. They'll be photorealistic. They will be animated. They will show it, and we will have voiceovers explaining how all of these things work. And the point being that the customer would like to, we're making the product that customer's looking for completely relevant to them. We're highlighting all of these features that could be really interesting for the customer based on their circumstances, and we're highlighting specific benefits to them. So the customer can understand just how much work has gone into this product and how it's benefiting them as they come through. And then lastly, is our purchase slide. Now, this is our proof of concept. This is where a lot of the time and effort has been spent developing this, because what our system does is provides personalized consultations at the dealership. So imagine the customer's gone through the various applications that we've had so far. They're coming out and they're looking to actually purchase the vehicle. What we do is within the fitting room or the area of which they would talk about configuring their vehicle, we would have a table, and on that we would have a quarter scale hologram of the car that they've developed, the configured vehicle. And the next step is very, very interesting insofar that what happens now is that we have a customer genius that talks to the customer and goes through the profile that we've developed, and it gets the customer to qualify the profile. In addition, we start talking about their lifestyle needs and various other things. We form a picture of what that customer is looking for in a car. We're not interested in the customer per se. We're interested in what they're looking for the car and how we can service that. And effectively, what this means is that even if the customer comes to the end of the experience and doesn't buy it, we have a profile which is 100% precise, which means that we can start looking at reaching out to the customer and personalizing the experience to them. And these points here are that we have, you can interact with the holograms. So you get a swatch off the wall. You've got a grey car, want to change it to red, you put it down, and we change the hologram directly in front of the customer with NFIT limits. And we have various other things. Most important one is we can put the customer in the car. With the Apple Vision Pro, we're expecting 4K resolution, which means that we can get models which feature the detailing of the car specifically. So you will be able to get into this holographic environment and go and see the stitching and see how well the dials look and the light refraction. It is photorealistic. So as we come to the end, why it works, and then I'll hand you over to Wolf. Firstly, the customers are time poor. Everything is on one platform. They can find everything they want and it's personalized to them. Faster impact. We're using immersive technologies, holograms. We're not using it because it's a gimmick. We're using it because 3D gives more information than a 2D video or a picture. That's why we're using 3D, and we're using off-the-shelf products. We're not asking for any investment in our own immersive tech. And then we believe that we know it would increase conversion rates because the customer's actually getting everything they want and they're understanding the value of that product to them because everything has been personalized. Feature upsell. This is the bread and butter of a car companies where you make most of your money, and the idea is that all the recommendations that we're making are relevant to that specific customer. They can take it or leave it, but everything is in there and increases our chances. And then lastly, rich and in-depth customer data, because we've asked the customer to give us this information. We've asked the customer if they're allowing us to watch what they're watching in. It's like looking at them in the virtual store. We want to know what they're looking for. And what brings back is that they know the data is being used. It's being used for this, but it's a value exchange. They're happy for that to be used. Now I'm going to pass you over to Wolf.
Thanks very much. One more thing, maybe as a level of detail. Of course, the car buying is changing as well. And it's not only about the buying itself, it's about getting the data so that factories can start purchasing the stuff people want. I've seen it on the inside of OEMs. We purchase stuff, we discover, oh, customers want something different. Oh, I'm sorry, we can't deliver. We'll give you something else. We'll give you a discount. You don't want to give discounts. You want to actually deliver what people want. And so this kind of data we can also provide to the factories to purchase the right thing, to put it into production, and then actually deliver vehicles into the dealerships and into the channels that matter. So if we go further, this all is in fact actually brought together by what we call the big brain. It's the central intelligence, because we've seen it, and I can swear to God, you have technical training films in technical departments. You have marketing stuff in the marketing department. You have PR stuff in the PR department, but it doesn't come together for the people who want to have a full picture. And the stuff is there. So we need to bring it together into one platform and then essentially feed it from assets which are already there, coming from the manufacturers, and then bringing it to the front end, and to the front end, which matters in every stage of the customer journey. And as Christian was already explaining, it can be handheld, it can be on the computer, it can be eventually on glasses, which we believe we will have soon with augmented reality that look more or less normal, and we can actually walk around town with those. So again, this is a technology that is in the making. And of course, we can create a customer dashboard so that when the customer interacts, the person who talks to them understands where they are in their journey and not, okay, where do we start? And this happens all the time. And at the same time, of course, all that data goes into Salesforce and in the future into personalized AI configurations that allow the tool to become more and more attuned to the customer, even the pictures they see or the backgrounds they see, or is it dynamic or is it safety that they are more interested in? And that is in a second stage where we're going to go. And this allows us over the customer journey funnel to create awareness on the one side, start collecting the data. And as we go down the route with different modules, which can be purchased separately, we can then get a clearer and clearer picture of who's actually interested in what, and we can make suggestions that matter, like the lighting and other things. And this is because these are very complex products, and most people don't understand what is matrix light, or what's laser light, or bike xenon light, and what is the advantage of having this versus that, and why should I invest in it? And this bringing it down and also offering something that is a software as a service where you can upload your own stuff here. You don't need any customization. You can upload your stuff. You can activate this even as a small company. We're talking big companies right now, but of course, the whole business model is also for small companies. You can do the same thing, creating a virtual showroom, because we've created the virtual showroom and you just put your product into it, etc., so that we can actually scale it to big businesses and small businesses alike. And as we are building this, we're building more and more impact, because the thing matters and people can visualize it and understand what it is they're paying for. And I guarantee you probably at least 50% of you who've bought a car or configured your car, you were not really sure what you're going to get at the end of it. I would swear to God. God, I swear to God all the time. So what are we looking for? We are looking for 1 million to take us into a fully functioning product that we can go back to the OEMs and say, here it is, finally. And this has 3 stages. The first stage is building up the entire phase 1. Alpha development, we call it. It's testing. It is getting the right technology calibrated. And we have a proof of concept, but of course, this proof of concept needs to now be made into a product itself. And that will be about 400,000. Then the next one, and this is important, is the full development, especially also the back end, that the back end can calibrate the data, bring it into the right formatting to the front end. So there's a lot of programming in this part, and we want to then test the whole functionality with customers. And the next one is going out into the market with marketing. And here we believe, with the current contacts that we have and with their knowledge of what we're working on, that we can get the first 10 customers pretty quickly. And these are not customers for the big product with all 5 modules, but it's sort of staged and staggered so that we can actually get into the market quicker with stuff that they can use and they can start falling in love. And why is that important? Because in this model, we want to sell to people who come into our ecosystem and discover, oh, this works pretty well. Oh, can I do the virtual showroom as well? And oh, actually, the product explainer would help me. And so we plan to have about 20% of our business of people upselling or downgrading, depending on where they enter into our ecosystem. And equally, 20% coming from subscriptions, because they're not going to activate this and turn it off again after one go. They'll leave it for a couple of years as long as this thing performs and the model is recent and new. So the target segments is not just cars, but we start with cars because we need to focus, we need to concentrate. We have our experience there and we have our contacts there. And I guess if we have 2, 3, 4 nice OEMs as our customers, others will become aware of us, and we can then extend. And of course, we can extend into commercial vehicles, very difficult. It's B2B business, but also very complex for different truck type of things. We can even go into defense systems, boats, yachts, and as I mentioned, even for the small modules, you might be a manufacturer of a power drill, and you can also show the power drill on Amazon, for instance, as a hologram. People can actually then look at it and say, oh, okay, this is what it looks like. And it's a plugin that we can provide.
It's more about bridging the gap between dreaming and reality and enabling people to get to understand it in context with their own personal situations as well. So I can go to, yeah, absolutely. So basically, the customer journey software market, it wasn't something that we were very familiar with before, but basically the way it works is Salesforce and Adobe have these systems that plug into the back of legacy touch points for the brand. So it will plug into the brand's social media, to their websites and various other things. And the way it works is to help customers navigate these different platforms, sending them text and emails saying, look, there's a new product launch coming up on Facebook, go there, that sort of stuff. So basically, they've got all the back end stuff in there, but they've got no engaging front end. And then next to that, we've put in the internet, where people just go on and research and just go out and just find out what they can and what they do. OEM configurators, that's the bespoke tech that the OEMs have. And one of the things that we took from this was the fact that there's so many layered levels of technology in these car companies that if we say that we're going to add something or connect to something, all the hands go up and they fear for their lives because it's going to break something. So that's part of the reason why we took everything out of their system as a standalone platform. And then we have the AR configurators. So you have products that companies produce that can put AR products into Amazon when you're doing your Amazon shopping, and basically put the whatever product you're looking at, put it in front of you on the table so you can understand a little bit more. And then we have the last guys there, 3D Excite, Autodesk. That's all focused on, forgive me, car horn, making the car look super, super good. But Wolf, you want to
connect it. Obviously, we want to provide the information and collect information. And at the same time, we want to actually have the photorealistic representation that is easy to understand, where people have fun in engaging and actually use time. And in fact, as a matter of we did do our first product, as we might have mentioned earlier, for COP26 in Glasgow. Yep. We're doing another one for COP28 now for a customer where we look at the engagement levels, and people are spending a lot of time on it, because once you're in there, you're actually, it's exciting, it's informative, it's also engaging, and that is very good. And why do we believe this will work? Because we're working into a market which is growing very quickly. And this is not even the augmentation market or the immersive market.
This is just this.
So what have we done? Our first client was, in fact, the Timber Trade Association and the Federation.
UK government.
And the UK government, thank you. The next ones are, in fact, also companies that are literally just coming into Europe. Very interesting Chinese brands who don't have a retail network and want to go more digital. And then, of course, there's a lot of partners, some of them my former employees, who are also looking at reducing their overheads, their dealership model, and actually are digitizing increasingly, because also they want to have the data. So what does it mean in terms of business? Well, we hope that within 5 years, we will hit the 50 million in revenues. And this is a mix of different modules. As I said, most of the modules we've actually looked at will probably be the smallest one that have an entry price of about 10,000 pounds. The live brochure. Yeah. But also for some of the big OEMs, we can scale it up, and that'll be about 250,000 plus subscription plus the other services. So that adds to all the revenues with expenditures of about 25 million. And we believe we will get an EBIT within the 5 years and a cumulative of 28 million. Break even after 3 years. We have an average customer lifetime value of more than 100,000, which we believe, especially because companies have more than one model, and then they have, essentially, we can scale it to more models and therefore also more revenues from our side. And again, I think we're approaching the market with a very good with a good band of products that we can make available. So that's what we're asking for, an engagement. We hope that what we said or what we presented makes sense, that you can feel we're passionate about it. For sure, this is a big one for us. We would like to get started with first revenues in 2025 and use 2024 to get this whole thing up and running and wow people. And if you're overwhelmed or underwhelmed, the good news is, don't worry, we've got a stretcher here for you. So just in case you can't take it anymore.
We can do it sitting down. So that's absolutely.
Over to you.
Brilliant. And that's it, just to say that we've created something that we believe addresses a need. And it's not just for cars, it's for any complex product.
Questions, please.
Just with regard to questions, can you wait until the microphone gets over to you before you ask them, just so we can make sure we're picking it all up?
No. Great, I get to go first. Thank you. Yeah, really interesting presentation. Thank you very much. I've got a couple of questions. First of all, regarding hardware, could people use this, are they going to need virtual reality headsets?
No, the way it's going to work is that we have 5 applications at the moment. The first 3 are mobile devices. Everyone's phone in this room, if you've got the latest iPhone or Android, has the latest VR and AR hardware already installed as part of it. So the idea is that you would have a frictionless entry. You'll place it over the QR code or whatever we have, and that would activate. You don't need to download anything. The whole purpose of this was to have a frictionless entry onto our system, frictionless information coming back.
And the other thing is it has to be agnostic, so that as the hardware develops over time, we have an engine that can actually service all the hardware that is on the market. That's important, and it's right now a Unity powered engine in the background that actually provides all the data to the various front ends.
And the other point is that we haven't done too many investment meetings so far this year because we wanted to see what the Apple Vision Pro would be like. And we are very, very excited. It's Apple's most complex product they've ever made. And we believe that the spatial computing area is going to go first in enterprise, so people can interact with it and explore it and have fun. And then it's going to start, as Wolfgang was highlighting, these glasses will be your mobile device. You'll be able to communicate with your glasses. And that's an exciting proposition.
Hi guys, yeah, very excited with this presentation, and I'll be transparent for you. I run a tech company. I tried to work with Toyota in 2015 to do something similar but very small scale, not like what you're doing. The first thing I picked up on that is your eye tracking while you're looking at the aspects of the car, feeding that back to the providers is very valuable.
Yeah,
very valuable. and I might start off with this. Bought an AMG, absolutely loved it. Play Sniper Elite, absolutely love it. So fantastic. Well, but I bought an AMG, and there's something that I didn't cover on this that I didn't see, and I think it's something that needs to be considered. It's not a detractor, it's something that needs to be considered. I didn't buy my car till I sat in it and drove it. So that test drive. And I couldn't figure out at that point with Toyota how to get over that. So just as a warning, but I'd love to talk to you afterwards because I'll give you all my experience. I didn't pursue it, COVID got in the way, and I've done something else. So good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi, Sunny. Interesting presentation, interesting concept as well. Up to this time, how have you funded the whole project?
Up to this time, we bootstrapped it, and we had our first customer. In fact, right now we're working on an update for that customer. So that's how we've financed it. It's about $250,000 that's gone into it. We have a proof of concept. We have some first applications, but we definitely now need the money to actually build it, go to the OEMs and show that it works. And once it works, we can start seeding it in with one car only. They can test it, get acclimatized, and then we hope to then expand into their portfolio.
And also, it works. immerzion.one works as a framework, so you're not just restricted to having one car that just sits on the platform. You can pull that one car out, put another one in, and they can basically tailor all of this to all the other communications that are doing at the same time.
Would you be open to crowdfunding?
Potentially, but we've been working on this a little while, and we're very keen to move forward. And like I said, that we haven't been doing too many investor meetings. We wanted to make the time right for us in terms of the market, and yeah, we're very interested in.
Right, I shall talk to you guys later.
Okay,
very good. Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
One more over there, though. We've got time for one more.
Thank you. I hope you guys can hear me okay.
Perfect.
A very, very interesting presentation. I've got a couple of questions. I've got a little bit of confusion going on, but if I understand it, the USP that you're offering is really leveraging technology that already exists, and what you're offering is really that sort of data aggregation, that data collection. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, the way it works is that we know that these front-end experiences could be copied by the competition. That's easy. Most people are doing. What we've done is we've taken existing applications or directions and pulled them together, so we acted as a toolbox for the customer. And the main elements that motivated us through this was really understanding what the customer wanted. So the way it works, and this is from my video games experience where we utilize data analytics, is that we get a picture of what they're looking for, and it's completed by our customer data platform and our proprietary AI. And what it does is sorry.
I think you've answered that part of my question. Good. The second part of my question is, given that it's about data collection, what stops 99% of the data being generated by 14-year-old boys who are car fanatics?
It potentially could be.
Yeah.
Is
that something that you thought about? Is it something for maybe future data, data that you're going to be using in the future? This is, where are the checkpoints that will tell you?
Well, data needs to be contextualized. We're talking to a company, also MIT startup called Sept. They do psychological AI, and they actually understand, and this is one of the plugins that we're looking at developing, understanding the profiles of people based on the kind of search terms and other things in their surroundings. So once you actually have a connection through download of an app, you start understanding more of broader behaviors. And then we can validate that. So it's a very good question, because it's going to be very tricky to provide high quality data to the customers. But then again, in the end, also at some point, it doesn't matter if some people who are young actually enjoy it, because they will be the customers of tomorrow, as most people know who watch Porsche ads.
Yeah, and the Lamborghini couldn't have poster on the wall, that sort of thing.
Likewise,
so
this is just where the question came from. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.